If a worldly leader is coward, a church leader should not. Because you're supposed to be filled by the Holy Spirit. You belong to the one who is the warrior of all warriors, Jesus Christ of Nazareth, a revolutionist. How do you think the Lord changed the history of humanity? By being silent and quiet and afraid? No, he was a revolutionist. He was a warrior. He faced everyone and told them in their face, you are children of the snake. You belong to Satan. Your father is Satan, the father of all lies. He said it in their faces. I don't want an atheist to come and represent me. Hypocrites. But it's not their fault. It's the church leaders' fault. Again, if the church leaders were warriors, believe you me, none of this nonsense would have happened. They all agreed and bowed before the government and said, please come and devour the flock with pleasure. Give us money, Habibi. Shame on such church leaders, you cowards, traitors, hypocrites. You are teaching false things when you deny Jesus Christ. Shame on you. And I don't care what kind of a rank you have in the church. Shame on you. I only live once, and I will never die a coward.
Not after this. So I'm sure, many people have probably been following, or maybe not, that the government refuses to disclose, citing, cabinet confidentiality or something. Basically, their reasoning and their intelligence or whatever it was, their justification for enacting, the Emergency Measures Act, which of course culminated in the brutalizing of demonstrators in Ottawa back in February. Now, the funny thing about this is, at least to me, is that I know what the reason is. A lot of people do. And so does Rebel News, because I talked to them about it. It was me. It was us. It was Diagolon. How do I know this? Because they said it over and over and over again in the House of Commons, in the Senate, in the media. There were dozens of stories, and now all of a sudden it's just disappeared. It's gone. We're just not going to talk about it anymore, especially in regards to the arrests in Coots, the militia, the big scary, white supremacist army and everything. It just all went away. Why? Because it's embarrassing. Because it's incredibly embarrassing. Canada declares war on a fake country and arguably loses. That's pretty embarrassing on a national level. Worse, no one picked up the story. They were asking around about the Coots situation and what's the deal with the patches and all this stuff. And I reached out to them and I got a hold of them. And I'm not going to say who, because I don't think it's this particular person's fault that they kiboshed the thing and they're going to hide from it. But we worked on this. We had a back and forth. I've got the text messages and the correspondence to prove it. We worked on this story for like a week. He's going to do a whole big segment, an hour-long segment. We're going to do an interview, everything. I told them the whole story, the whole long, ridiculous story of how, me and my friends trolled the entire Canadian government into believing that there was an existential threat from a pretend country whose vice president is a time-traveling goat figurine with a narcotics problem. We worked on this for a week, and at the last minute, they just dropped the story. The day before a scheduled interview, it's like, they gave me some, bullshit excuse and then ghosted me. And now they're all perplexed. They just can't understand. Why is the government, what secrets are they hiding? Why won't they tell the Canadian people what's happened? Why won't they explain their reasoning for enacting what is essentially, an act designed to defend the country in wartime? What could it be? What was the threat? It was me. They used this fake country, spurned up by nonsense and smears and lies and propaganda, primarily by the Canadian Anti-Hate Network, to create a boogeyman that was necessary to justify what they were going to do. And they couldn't find one, so they invented one. And if you think I'm going to let them get away with that you're just going to ignore the fact that this happened, okay? Just stop and acknowledge just for a minute that not only did they say the word Diagolon in the House of Commons, which was hysterical in itself many times, it went all the way to the Senate and was used in justifications and secret security and terrorism reports for the reasoning as why the Emergency Measures Act had to be put into place. And I wrote to every senator and every single MP explaining the whole thing. There's a whole website explaining the whole thing. And everybody's gone, la, 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 la. No, 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 no. I don't know, because you're embarrassed. Because, as I've been saying for years, this country is a clown circus. It's a joke. It's run by incompetent buffoons. How do you make a blunder this ridiculous and huge? I mean, who's more to blame? I don't know. The fact that it's out there and it's obvious, the media's refusing, we're just not going to talk about it, that's pretty bad. Or how about that the intelligence agencies and the people that they rely upon to tell them the truth about the situation got it this wrong and screwed it up this badly? Or that you've got senators and elected officials in our government up there reading from a script, talking about a pretend fantasy Nazi militia that doesn't exist as the reason why your country needs to be put under the War Measures Act. I'm not sure which facet of this is more insane or ridiculous, and I'm still having a hard time digesting it. It's been months, and I'm still in shock and disbelief over the whole thing. But it is funny to me that it's disappeared from the narrative now. They don't mention it anymore when they talk about the arrest, and they're just kind of going to quietly try and exit the stage. It's like finding one of your parents falling down, pissed their pants drunk, who's just fallen through the living room table, and they just try to sneak away like it didn't just happen. Like, are you okay, man? Like, what's going on? Are you all right? Media, government, Senate, are you okay? Are you doing okay? I mean, I'm okay. Are you okay?